Life is an obviously confusing and bewildering, often overwhelming experience during which we attempt to find our way through both the light and the shadows. And we are listening to signs that come from within ourselves, as well as from within other people and the natural world, for guidance on which direction to go in. We want more. We dream of better things. And yet we are conflicted because it seems oftentimes that we need to take those things from other people. And in some parts of the world, like in Iran right now, it is true. In that state of hell, or hell on the cusp of a breakthrough into something approximating a decent life on planet Earth by 21st century standards, right now is a time where it does feel like one group of people must take something from another group of people in order to break free. Because when there's a boot on your throat, it's not a time to let go or forgive or to take a second perspective, because it's a crisis. And in crisis mode, it's imperative to act fast and to know how to fight, to know already in advance how the human being works and how to weaken it. But most of us don't spend most of our time considering these important issues of power and influence and alignment and access and change and authority and authorship and self-determination. We often only get to the point of considering these things during a crisis. And that's okay, that's natural. We forget. We get lost in the dream of life. We get lost in the dream trying to find our way through the darkness, through the shadows, and through the light, and through the clarity. So, obviously, we want to increase the clarity. Obviously, we want to increase the power. Obviously, we would like the candle within us to stop being blown out and to reach a critical mass where it becomes a bonfire that cannot be blown out and which is in fact empowered by the adversity that would otherwise blow out the solitary candle. Independence is an illusion. It can be a useful game to play, to go from being dependent to independent and then dependable to others. If you go from dependent on others to independent of others, then you can in fact become dependable to others, but it's only through an understanding of your own power and your own center of control that you can have any gravity that then allows other people to rotate around you and to depend on you. So independence is useful. It's a useful enough metaphor or vision. And that's exactly what the people of Iran right now are fighting for, led by women. Zan, Zendegi, Azadi, woman, life, freedom. This is the first, so I hear, first feminist revolution in the world. It's a country that is on the cusp of overturning a tyrannical, authoritarian, theocratic dictatorship in the name of women's rights. This is incredible. This is an incredible story. It's beautiful. It's an incredible story. And it's beautiful, but it comes on the heels of the brutal murder by law enforcement of a 22, 23-year-old young Kurdish woman who was showing a little hair when she was vacationing in the capital of what could be an absolutely tremendous civilization and country. It has been, And it has the massive potential, and it can be, and we hope it does. We want more light, more education, more understanding, more conversation, less violence, less oppression, more power distributed democratically, more power that is individually owned. We want humanity to grow up just the way individual humans grow up and go from being dependent to independent to dependable. We want humanity collectively to go through that same process of going from dependent on conditions and simply triggered by whatever comes up to independent with an internal locus of control and a candle that's big enough that it won't get blown out to the point where it's a bonfire that other people can rely on. You can be a star individually and as a group, a star that others can depend upon, that shines bright and it does not have to consume itself in the work of heat and energy generation and the spiraling whirlwind that we know that every star is. Every star is a force of nature spiraling around itself, generating massive energy that literally gives life. And any one person can do that. Any one person can heal others. We can heal each other. We can also hurt each other. And that is our power. The third option is to ignore each other. We can do all of those things. We can hurt, heal, and ignore. So, where is our attention? Mostly, it's in just trying to survive, just trying to keep our heads above water. And so occasionally we find a person to whom we can relate, on whom we can depend, and with whom we can share a life, and we let that person in. And occasionally we're that person for someone else, where we can transact in life. I can give you money. You can give me food. We're giving each other life. You can give me money. I can give you medical services or life coaching. We are giving each other life. Life can be transacted. But right now, in Iran, life has to be taken. The people of Iran have to take their lives back, even if it means dying or killing for the will to live and self-authorship and self-determination. It is my hope, my ardent prayer, that one day that people, my people, our people, can be in the position that we are, in the position that we're blessed to be, because as we know, the future is already here on Earth. It's just unevenly distributed. And in fact, the past is also still here. It's just unevenly distributed. And if you want to know where the future is, look at where people go. Look at the countries that have to be maintaining their populations by at the point of a gun, and you can see where the past is. Look at the places where people are dying and killing to get into, and you can see where the future is. This is plain enough. Where we go towards is what we are magnetically attracted to. We individually and collectively cannot help but be gravitating towards the things that we perceive to be giving us life. The things that we perceive subjectively by our intuition to be giving us life and to be good for us are tonic things. And the things that we intuitively are disgusted by and spend massive resources to avoid experiencing are toxic. And yes, of course, addiction, for instance, or a propensity to get beaten by your spouse are indications of where there are individual aberrancies in psychological and emotional intuition, but we understand those to be illnesses. We understand those to be sicknesses and to be exceptions to our natural tendency to be attracted to things that are good for us. And that's what the people of Iran right now are doing. They are fighting tooth and nail for something that is good for them, which is freedom. And we stand with them because we are not separate from each other. And all of us are moving towards a future that we can already feel is available to us.